Shakespeare's getting turned on his head over at La Jolla Playhouse.
I swear this is Shakespeare, believe it or not.
But the Bard's Forest of Arden will look and sound a little different.
We apologize for the little beeping of the, it's actually them building the set.
While a reimagined forest is being built outside, some deconstruction is happening inside the rehearsal room.
Find somebody you are not with at any other time and take them to the woods.
Take the court versus forest motif. Elizabethan audiences would have seen it as restriction versus freedom, perhaps even Protestant versus Catholic. But how could that be redefined for a modern audience?
And so for us, our production is the binary court and the free gender-ful forest.
As dramaturg, Regina Victor has some key duties. Okay, learning how to wrestle is part of their duties understudying the role of Orlando. But as dramaturg, Victor is responsible for world building in a new play, historical context for an old one, and acting as a playwright's advocate, even if he's dead.
What do I think Shakespeare would have wanted? What was his intention in writing the story? And how can our interpretation honor that without distracting from it?
So while gender fluidity is being discussed in the rehearsal room,
This moment is this community, joy-forward, queer moment.
it wasn't a topic of discussion in Shakespeare's time. But the Bard obviously wanted to play with ideas about gender and identity, since he wrote the part of Rosalind to be played by a boy, who then has to dress like a woman, who then disguises herself as a man, who pretends to be a woman so that the man she secretly loves can woo her.
What Shakespeare's original productions had to do, that this one also has to do, is get down to the essence of the person. Peter, who's playing Rosalind, talks a lot about in the forest, I become a lover. And that identity transcends gender.
Christopher Ashley is one of the play's co-directors.
I would say our production is even more genderful than original productions because we have this amazing group of actors, trans actors and non-binary actors and queer actors, and there's all of these options for how does this production construct the possibilities for that character.
What would happen if Rosalind, in fact, was not pivoting from one thing to another and no one else was seeing her in that way, but that actually she was shedding an idea, shedding a binary idea, and actually her experience in the woods is accumulative, that she's becoming more and more herself, which is more and more complex.
And what if that was reflected through the costumes?
That in this production, Rosalind starts to shed layers, courtly layers, and then starts to accumulate other things, and that we're watching her transform over time.
Co-director Will Davis adds that other characters also get to shed layers they don't want and give them to someone else who might look great wearing them, because the image we choose to present can have an impact.
The more I can imagine something and believe in what I'm imagining about myself and for myself, the more the world is going to respond to that.
And I think that's kind of threaded through the entire piece, where there are moments where the gender play with Rosalind is really an invitation to other people that, just because you present one way doesn't mean your gender has stopped. It doesn't mean you've arrived at. It means that you are now fluid between, and that's been really exciting.
It's also exciting to hear the music reimagined. But the text of Shakespeare's play has not really been altered, even when Rosalind's epilogue returns to the binary language of male and female.
Because what ended up being more delightful was giving this trans performer the ability to put that gender panic back on the audience. And to say, it's not actually for me to make sense of this for you. It is actually for me to invite you to make sense of it yourself.
Shakespeare's plays have proven endlessly adaptable because they're not about the past.
Their main thing is the human imagination and the possibility of human relationships, which feels like it never dates.
So let La Jolla Playhouse take you to its gender-ful forest, where you might experience Shakespeare from a fresh perspective. Thanks for watching. I'm Beth Accomando, KPBS Arts and Culture reporter, and I cover everything in the arts from Shakespeare to film reviews. So check out the playlist and subscribe. And thanks.